right, welcome back, everybody. HSC Podcast. Hopefully, you just watched the sports segment. If not, go back, check it out. You're on our movie segment. Big Box Steve on the mic, Big Smooth. And just thank you, everybody, for watching and the comments and stuff with the movies. We tend to get a lot of views and a lot more views and a lot of more comments from our movie segments, which is great. If you want to hear more movies, reviews, top fives, anything you want to hear, leave in the comments. We're happy to do that. This is a new segment again. we're, we're all about new segments tonight. So the sports news segment was really great. And so this kind of stemmed from a conversation with AI. And it's so weird to say that, right? Like we're having conversations with AI now. But that's where we're at, right? We're having conversations with AI. And just kind of talking about movies with AI. And, my wife decided to do a trivia with AI. And AI was like, this guy knows too much about movies. And we went down this whole trending thing. And then so it just led me to this, like, let's kind of talk about some of the trending stuff right now, why it's trending or why it shouldn't be trending, things like that. And just see how, what the you guys out there want, right? What everybody's talking about. So we got four movies for you. The first one we're talking about is old classic, and it's Pretty Woman. This is 1990, I believe. And this is Julia Roberts, Richard Gere, and what a great movie. Tell us all about it, Derek.
Well, I'll admit it's the first time I've seen it.
No way.
Yeah, well, basically because I pretty much knew what was going to happen from like a trailer and stuff, and that's pretty much what it was. I mean, it's got funny parts. I really like Hector Elizondo in this. Loris Giacomo is good always, but it's Richard Gere's a super wealthy man who buys and sells companies. It's like this is the tame version of Wall Street because he's, basically Gecko, but then he gets a heart of gold at the end. But he meets Julia Roberts and just needs to get directions to get to his hotel, and then they hit it off, and then he just is like, "Oh yeah, why don't you just hang out with me?"
Yeah, it's kind of weird, when you think about, like, first of all, he picks up a streetwalker, he takes him back, or you can call him whatever you want. I'm just using the word the internet uses. Picks her up, takes her back to the super nice hotel, and just like I guess that whole thing about he has enough money so no one cares. But yet, if it was a different situation, a guy with less money, a different place, or you might not be accepted and things like that. So it's that part of the movie that I think gets to some people. Also, the whole plot in general. But it
Yeah.
is good though. Like the acting's great. If you look at Julie Roberts in this movie, I think she does a great job with her mannerisms, her timing, um, just her presence, and how she's able to control herself throughout her scenes. There's a lot that she does well when you break down the acting in this movie.
Well, yeah. I mean, this was her breakout. I mean, she had other movies before this, but this was the movie that pushed her to stardom.
Yeah, well, I'm not afraid to admit it. I'm a Julia Roberts fan. I watched all of her movies and multiple times, and I will tell you that's interesting though because you can see some of her later movies and they're still good. But if you really dig into this movie, you'll see some of her best acting, even better than some of her later movies. So that's one thing I enjoy about it. And but there are funny parts too, right? And it's not always like laugh out loud funny. It's almost relatable funny in certain situations and things like that. So I mean, I guess if you change the plot to just like some dude met some girl at a dress shop, it might be the same movie, but more believable.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're not going to get the Jason Alexander's character being like, "Oh, I'm gonna."
Yeah, which is kind of the worst part of the whole movie, right? Like
Yeah.
you're watching this movie and there's parts of it that you're like, oh, this is adult content or this is a little cringe. But Jason Alexander's part, it takes to a whole nother level.
Yeah.
Like there's like I think there's a blind hate that comes out of you when you see scenes like that. And now it's like you're like, I'll never see him in Seinfeld again the same way.
Summer of George.
So with Pretty Women 2, now this is interesting because we talked about AI. I will tell you, AI was fooled by the Pretty Woman 2 hoax that was going around the internet for a while. That got pretty big, apparently. It gained some momentum and some steam, and everybody's like, "Oh, Pretty Woman 2, 2026."
Wow.
It's just like no,
No, I mean, you gotta, Julia Roberts isn't doing that. Uh, Plus, Gary Marshall's the director and he passed away. Richard Gere's not much of the draw that he was back then. And Julia Roberts is too big for that now.
right? Well, and it kind of stemmed from actually a joke she made about it. Is what I can tell. The whole hoax started. But it's kind of interesting though how that stuff goes, right? And a lot of people who don't follow up or dig in a little bit more, maybe like, man, I can't wait to see Pretty Women too. I guess that's the problem with the internet and AI when you start digging into it, really. Like, what if the first time you looked at it wasn't right?
Well, and nowadays, I wouldn't have been surprised if they're like, we're gonna remake Pretty Woman, but this time it's gonna be grittier, right? I
Yeah,
mean, that's what they do now.
yeah,
It's like, oh, Point Break, let's make it extreme sports instead of surfing. Or
surfing, right? But we're still just gonna make it again
yeah. But I
because,
could totally see Pretty Woman as like a darker
right.
R-rated movie.
And obviously they're not afraid to remake movies.
Yeah.
So there's no reason to not to remake it at this point. They've remade everything else in some form or another.
Yeah.
But it is interesting though how the internet gets fooled and AI gets fooled and you end up with this Pretty Women 2 hoax. And now you got us reviewing Pretty Woman because you're a hoax.
Yeah.
Come on. It's a great movie though. I actually enjoy it. I think it's worth the watch. All right. So second one, Truman Show. I mean, here's a question. Who hasn't seen the Truman Show?
I had not seen The Truman Show
Yeah.
because you watch the trailer and you've seen The Truman Show.
So you're just out there just watching movie trailers. You're not watching any
Well,
movies.
I watch a movie trailer and I'm like, okay, I get the gist of this. I don't really need
Right.
to watch this now. And then I watch it and I'm like, yeah, that's pretty much what it was.
Oh, yeah. I mean, obviously, if you watch the trailer, you or you know a little bit about this movie, you know how it's going to go, right? Um, the story is he's from a very young age. He's told that he lives in this place, which it's a made up place by a
I think
camera
it's
crew.
I think it's from when he's born.
Right, right, yeah. So right out of the womb, this guy is just put into this fictitious place, which is a real place, but it's videotaped and put on a show so people can watch it. But the whole thing, the whole premise is everybody is in on it but him. And I mean, that's a recipe for disaster, number one. But there is a good parts of the movie though, outside of just knowing the plot, where it does start to twist and when he starts to learn about it. And there is a little bit of reaction for me as I watch it. It's like, what if you were in that position? What if you were finding out for the first time, right, about these little things, but you don't know for sure yet? You're not 100% sure, but you start seeing little things. You start thinking. I think that's probably the time you're feeling the most crazy, right?
Well, it's also when you think the people that you can trust are against you also.
Yeah. Well, that even I think that gets like anger, right? That turns into a more of an anger feeling. So the question around this is one, you know, what scares people about that or being watched all the time? What's scary is that in general for people? But you also just brought another interesting question is that once he figures that out, or once you figure that out, like what stages do you go through? Because when you first start seeing like that guy was in this phone booth yesterday at the same time, right? You're like Matrix. There's a glitch in the Matrix. But when you find out that your wife was faking, a whole life with you the whole time and recording you, like that's a whole different type of like loss and anger and
Well, and the whole messed up thing is like, they don't go into it there, but as they allude to it, that they're having relations, you
relations.
know. And so she's like, I'm just an actress, but no, you're taking a little too far with him.
Right.
Like, because there's a whole thing where they're trying to she wants to have a baby.
Right. Well, because she doesn't play that role, it's not real to him anymore. And it makes you wonder if this was a real thing, like how hard it is to then stay within your job, you know.
But to answer your one question, we live in that world. People all the time. Let's
Right.
do what is it? I don't know what the dumb reality shows are. The one where they all just live in a house.
Oh yeah, all of them. That's every
Yeah,
show
but
now.
well, there's the real world, but then there was a Big Brother, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, Big Brother.
It's like they're signing up to just be like, yeah, Jersey Shore, just watch our lives.
Right. Yeah, well, so again, you have shows of people doing it, and then, but what about you said we're being watched all the time? So outside of the shows, if we like watching these shows where we're watching people all the time, why do we care if there's satellites watching us all the time?
Well, to be fair, I don't like those shows. So, although I will admit I did enjoy Jersey Shore, but the
Yeah,
other
Jersey
ones
Shore
I
is
don't like.
great, dude.
Yeah, Jersey Shore was great. And the
Cats are
first
here.
and the first few seasons of Real World, and then it got too real.
Yeah. Real World wasn't as good to me as Jersey Shore because I wasn't into Real World or as much as like because when it first came out, I was like, that's not a great concept to me. So I wasn't as excited about it. But then when like everybody started doing it and it got bigger and bigger, then it wasn't about the concept anymore. It was about the people in it. And you just don't get better than the Jersey Shore crew.
Yeah,
Like they
Jersey
were
Shore
just
was great.
great.
But that's the thing, like for us, being as old we are, we were there for the beginning of reality TV, which
Yeah.
was the Real World.
Jeez.
And like the first season of Real World, I was like, okay, let's see what this is. And then I watched the second and then the third season. And then I was like, I hate this. I'm done.
Oh man. I hate to bring up Chappelle show again, but it reminds me of the mad real world. If you've ever seen the episode
Oh,
of Chappelle show, Mad Real World, check it out. You're welcome.
just okay. Well, that's the other thing. Before you go and watch all the episodes of Chappelle Show, because you should watch all
Yeah.
of them,
It's such
finish
a
this
good show.
podcast and then go watch the Chappelle Show.
Yeah, after you finish. So then again, I guess just a final wrap up of this question, like then what does scare people about this information and the videos everywhere? I mean, because look, there's people getting mad at people assaulting them for like filming in public. Like people talk about the government and the satellites see you all the time. It's like I don't care. Like what do I care if the satellite's watching me?
Well, no, I get it. It's like, what is it? That's the TikTok generation. Now you got people on the streets, like I'm going to film themselves, but then they're filming you. And you're like, no, I don't want to be on your TikTok,
Yeah, I mean, but
right?
people like, well, you got First Amendment auditors do this all the time, right? They go out into public places, courthouses, things like that, that they know that's public, and then they start filming and they wait for people's reactions,
Hmm.
and I watch these people react though, and I'm just like, you know what? Just like, who cares? So that they're standing on your corner filming your church. Like, get mad, guys.
Yeah. But also, Steve, come on, that could be all staged.
Well, it's true. There's probably anything you see on any social media of that type, you have to look at that perspective, right? Because we've been fooled a lot by that. So you do have to look at that perspective. But there's legitimate people that I've seen in real life, right? Get mad at these things. And but also how many times you heard, oh, they're always watching us, they're listening on our phones
Yeah.
and all that stuff. So I don't understand what people's fear is around that. I mean, do I prefer not to have it? Yeah, but that's just the way it is, right? Like that's the new technology world. So deal with it. That's the point. All right, next one. And this is a pretty trending one right now. It seems the Scream franchise is getting a lot of attention. And it had been a while since I saw Scream, so I was like, why not? I like this pick from Mr. AI. Just because Scream's great. Like for me, the original one is obviously the best, but it's just a great movie. Like when it's one of those movies that when you watch, you're like, I kind of knew what was going on the whole time because you gave it to me in the beginning, but it was still fun to watch, you know. And you let the plot play out really well. So, give us your quick review of Scream.
I love Scream. I watch it every Halloween. So it's like, oh, okay, I'm going to watch this again after a few months ago. But I love, I watched all these Scream movies, but yes, there's nothing better than the original. And the characters, I mean, Matthew Lillard, Skeet Ulrich are perfect. And that I think that's why that one was so good is because you had one of them almost in almost every scene. You might not have known it, but they were in almost every scene. And it was cool because yeah, it's your friend group. It was, you had Randy and Jamie Kennedy and Nev Campbell and Rose McGowan, and that was just like a little friend group. And oh, you had killers in your mess.
You didn't even know it, right?
Yeah.
How about the what did you think of the succession of the plot and how they advanced it throughout the movie? Too slow, too fast? Did they do it well? Like what?
Oh, I think it was perfect, and that's why I love the first movie so well much. Is like you had it, they worked it out where like because it was Wes Craven, Kevin Williamson wrote it, but Wes Craven directed it, and you had the whole thing like, oh, we're gonna have the party at Stu's house, but we know we need to not have everyone at our house, so we get rid of the principal and make a big huge scene so everybody wants to leave and go see it. Um, and so then then you're not going to have as many people there to take care of.
Yeah, and you already have like the dad situation.
Hmm.
Also, that you're working. Yeah, I think you're right. I that's one of the things I do enjoy about it is I think they built throughout the movie well with the plot, like kept it going, advanced it at the right times. It never felt slow, but you always felt like the next scene was right around the corner.
Watch a few movie, take a few notes. It's fun.
Yep. So one of the questions here around this one, and it's a franchise question because that's really what's everybody's talking about right now is, how good is this franchise? How does it compare to other franchises? I guess my question for that would be, you know, how good is their character development, number one, in Scream? And maybe how does it compare to a couple other franchises?
Well, I mean, if you're looking at character development now, you only got what Nev Campbell and Courtney Cox through all seven of them, and you could tell that like Sydney Prescott, Nev Campbell, how her development from the first movie, and then the second movie, she's very skittish and scared and everything because she's in college, and then the third movie, she's like, I'm isolated now, but I'll come back to help out. And then it's just like, and then it's like, then she's the grizzled old veteran in the fourth
Right.
movie.
Because that's the end, right? Always. You always turn into that
Yeah.
in
It's
this
like,
type of
I'm
series.
done. I'm getting too old for this, but I keep doing it.
Right. Um, Overall, though, when you think about other characters, so obviously, I think they did a good job with Nev Campbell's development as well. Any other characters you'd say that stuck around long enough, or even that fall into that? Because they have made some changes, right, throughout the movies.
Right. Well, I always enjoyed Randy, Jamie Kennedy, and they got him in three movies, with help of like a tape. You showed like David Arquette's Dewey going from bumbling idiot deputy to at the very end, he was basically like, my life sucks. I'm just done. And he even in the movie, what was that was Scream 5, I think. He was like, he's the killer. He's like,
Yeah.
it's his ment and then lo and behold, he is the killer.
Well, I also like that. I do like his character development too, because it's not as all puppy dogs and ice cream that you always expect, out of certain characters, especially when you watch it from the beginning, further through the franchise. So there is some different routes that they take that I think makes their character development pretty good. I wouldn't say though it's top notch.
No. I mean, the killers have all been not as good as Billy and Stu.
Right. They've definitely gone downhill, and some couple of the movies throughout like significantly downhill.
Right. Well, that's what I loved about the first one. Like I said, they're in almost every scene at some point. Um, Scream 2, which I've seen a lot, like people saying it's the best, and
Maybe.
it's, but like you have Mrs. Loomis and whatever Mickey. But they're not in. It's like Mickey shows up and he was like, "Ha I was here now." But he was in a little bit at the beginning. He could have had that character development of
Right.
one of them, but they kind of then just stopped using him in scenes.
Yeah, definitely missed opportunities, right? To throughout all the movies.
Right. And then, the third, you go with, then they changed the backstory of the first with the third, which it was good, but you only have one killer in that one.
Right.
And so then you go against your trope of two. And then the fourth, it's what, a remake almost, but you change it around, but you're back to two killers. And then like the fifth one is where they got back to the way the original Scream was, where it's kind of the meta making fun of horror movie type thing because you have Randy's um, niece and nephew who are or the niece basically is Randy and
Right.
going through, it's like, these are the rules.
These are the rules. Yeah. So I guess overall, when you look at it, probably their biggest room for improvement or things they might have done differently would have been with the killers and just the consistency, or just keeping those higher quality. I think that's probably their biggest downfall. But overall, like when you look at it, amazing franchise, right? You know,
Yeah, who would have thought?
yeah, and to go for that long, that at this high of a level, um, and apparently it's trending, so
Yeah, well, because the
everybody
new one
loves
just
it.
came out.
Yeah, yeah, I haven't seen that yet, so that will be one of my next ones coming up here. But if you haven't seen the original, Like you're missing out.
Yeah, that's the best.
Yeah. I mean, just the opening scene, like, come on.
Well, it never really had been done before where you're going to take like someone that's the main. She was the biggest star out of the whole
Hmm.
cast.
Right. I mean, you're like, hey, come on, Drew Barrymore. We got a great role for you.
Right. And she's on the poster and
Right.
everything, and it's like,
They're like, haha, fooled you. All right. Well, that was good. So Scream. And then the last one is 1992 Dracula, really called Bram Stoker's Dracula, but apparently now they're just calling it Dracula. I was confused, but this is interesting because this is a movie I hadn't seen before.
oh,
And
lucky.
so a lot like Pretty Woman, like who hasn't seen that?
Yeah.
uh, I'm sure a lot of people probably haven't seen Bram Stoker's Dracula. It seems like when you think about it, not after you watch it, but before you watch it, you're like, man, this must have been a banger, right?
Well, if you look at the cast,
Right.
so
So, I mean, who's in it, right? So, first, obviously, you got Keanu Reeves. How big was Keanu, though, you think, in 92?
I mean, he wasn't what he is now because I'm pretty sure 92. So would you? It would have been like right off of like Bill and Ted. It wasn't. I think what was before Point Break, right?
Yeah. So,
No, he did Point Break. So
yeah.
basically, he had done the Bill and Ted movies, Parenthood, Point Break, and My Own Private Idaho before Dracula. So but he hadn't done Speed. Like I think Speed is when he really took
So,
off. To
so he wasn't Keanu Reeves. Yeah. He was just Keanu Reeves.
yeah,
Well, again, I guess in the moment it was probably still big, but now when you look back at it, you see it differently, right? Like if it wasn't 1992 and you're thinking about Keanu Reeves right now, you're like, wow, that's a big star.
right.
Gary Oldman, Anthony Hopkins, Winona Ryder.
Well, we're not Carrie Elways. He was
Yeah,
big back then.
yeah, he was. He was doing a lot of stuff. So first of all, great cast, right? And then Dracula, great story. So I'm sure we don't have to like go over the story of Dracula for everybody and kind of review that part of it. But I mean, you don't know Dracula, the story. I think maybe sometimes it gets misconstrued in the love story part of Dracula versus the vampire story part of Dracula. And so you kind of know the story, you got all these great actors, you're like, oh, this is going to be good. But is it?
Well, this is why we needed Wes here because he loves this movie. And so he should be here to defend it for us. I mean, I think for you and me, we kind of agree. It is Francis Ford Coppola directed it too,
I know. Like
but
I'm
it is
saying, you
very,
got everything.
yeah, it's just very slow, kind of corny at parts. I mean,
That's what frustrated me a lot, right? And I don't know that I would say corny. Corny is a good like getting to where I think it's at. I think it's similar. But yeah, you're right. Like just the little parts of the way um specifically to be honest, like the way Oldman acts. Like you're better than that, man. Like I just didn't I wasn't impressed by him when I've been very impressed with Gary Oldman in a lot of roles.
right.
And I think he's an incredible actor. I just wasn't super impressed in this one in a lot of those times where it made it feel almost a little bit corny, but not even just corny, but almost like ridiculous.
Very cartoonish, I would say.
Right, right. Or yeah, I mean, without the cartoons. It's like
Mhm.
real people doing cartoons.
Well, you know what's sad is you really haven't had a great Dracula movie, except maybe like since like Bela Lugosi, right? I mean,
Yeah. Well, and that's so this is the whole thing. So, AI is looking at the question, um, why is a movie like Dracula, even though maybe this one's not the best one, and you just mentioned, there's probably only one or two really great ones. Why is this type of movie trend though? Like what do people connect with in this style of movie, or why in this day and age is it popular again, I guess, building up again.
well, I think didn't they just come out with another one?
I mean, there's like a million Draculas, right?
Yeah, there seems like it, but I think they just, yeah, there was one last. Luke Besson did one. Gosh.
So I mean, AI seems to think it has something to do with the darkness in the movies, right? Or the story. This one does have a lot of darkness in it too, which if you like that, you might enjoy this movie a little bit more. Maybe, that's why some people enjoy it because there is a dark part of the movie.
Yeah, I mean, it's, the thing with Dracula vampires, it's the sensualness, it's like the gothic vibe of it all. It's like, like the whole thing, like Dracula has his brides and he, seduces. And I think that's like, it's like they romanticize him a little bit, even though he's a villain.
Right.
Even in this one, it's like he becomes Dracula because he has to go fight a war and the people he's fighting screw him over by pretending that he got killed and then his wife kills herself,
Yeah,
right?
and that's where you get all of it from.
Yeah, and then he takes it out on God and says, "Ugh."
It turns into a vampire.
Yes.
That's a tale as old as time. Happens to all of us.
I will say now, this Dracula, there was a novel idea. Have you ever seen Dracula 2000?
I think so.
Well, in that one, they made it where Dracula was Judas.
Oh, maybe I
And
haven't
that's
seen that
how he,
then.
then that's how he became a vamp because he
Yeah.
had betrayed Jesus and stuff. And now that was an interesting take on it.
Well, that's the cool thing about the story of Dracula, right? Is there's so many different takes on it. Uh, this one, I think, connects a lot more people than some of the other ones, just because everybody one loves a love story, but you also get to have the like you said, the darker gothic and romanticizing of it as well. So in today's society, it seems like that the next generations after us, they're more into these type of movies. So maybe let us know in the comments. Is that true? So if you're in maybe Gen Z or even younger millennials, are you guys more into the gothic movies now, the darker movies, or you know where's the rom-coms?
Well, then, it's like, then they can get in the nostalgia because then you can bring back, what's the one with Ray Fiennes? That's kind of a techno punky from the 90s.
I'm not good with the titles.
Um,
It's like the actor's name. It's like I can see it in my head, but I can't say it.
well, there's that one. Plus, there's Dark City. Dark City
Yeah.
is very gothic. Um, what was this one called? Figure this out real quick.
So yeah, while you're looking at that, one of the stories, and it's not a direct story of Dracula, but I also like the Van Helsing angle, which you also get a little bit in this movie, right? And Anthony Hopkins really plays someone who would look like a crazy Van Helsing.
Right.
So there is some good acting in this movie. And I don't think Keanu Reeves does a horrible job either.
No. Winona Ryder.
Yeah.
The movie was Strange Days.
Oh, Strange Days. Yeah. Yeah, that's boy, that one that's got a lot to it. That's such a deep movie. We definitely have to review that at some point. And we've talked about it before in different top fives and things like that, but there's a lot to that movie.
It was written by James Cameron.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. I saw that when it came out in the theater and and it was packed. Like everybody was piling in to see that movie. And then it like had like a semi like not everybody reacted to it well.
Yeah.
And then it's such a good movie, especially if you see it, you can see it a couple times and you get more and more out of it each time, and it's very deep. So overall, I mean, it's just a story of Dracula. I mean, it's as good as any of the other ones, I guess. It's just really slow. You got
Mhm.
to really commit to it, and you have to get into the story, right? Because the story is what really drives this one. It's not even just the story of Dracula. It's everybody's like all the characters working together on this one, and that's what you really have to focus on because you focus too much on just the Dracula portion. I think a lot of this movie, how it was intended, is lost.
Right.
But
But I
overall,
mean, yeah. I mean, for us, we already know the story of Dracula. We know the characters. I'm like, okay, there's Lucy. We know what's gonna happen to her. You know, this. So it's just another one. It's got some good acting, but it takes a while to.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it closes out really well. It finishes up all the plot lines and everything happens as you'd expect, and it has a good finish. Like I said, it's really hard to get going and to stick with it, but it's worth watching. And obviously, we've seen too many movies, so they're not all as exciting to watch sometimes. But I think for a person who wants to see a different style of Dracula movie, I think this is a great one.
Well, it's the period piece.
Right. And you got good actors and a good director. So
You want to see Reeves young? There you go.
yeah, tell us how Keanu Reeves did acting in that one. So all right, well, that'll wrap up the movie review segment. So don't forget, if you're listening, we're looking for comments and or suggestions for movies to review. Um, we like to go with, pick an actress, pick an actor, pick a style of movie, genre, or a specific plot.
Yeah.
So leave that in the comments and we'll get it done for you. So thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.